Andrew McCauley started as a rock climber and mountaineer, putting up dozens of big wall routes in Australia, as well as alpine first ascents in New Zealand, Patagonia, and the Himalayas in the 1990s. In 1998, he fell nearly 30 meters during a climb and shattered his knee, which made it almost impossible to climb at the level he was climbing at before the injury. It ultimately spawned his true life passion that he didn't even know about, and that was sea kayaking. He took to kayaking because it didn't really require the use of his legs. He very quickly began conquering all of the most difficult open ocean kayaking routes all around Australia and New Zealand, to the point where he had done all of them. The only one he had not done was the Tasman Sea. Andrew estimated it would take him approximately 1 month or maybe a little bit longer to cross the 1,000-mile journey. Other kayakers that had attempted going across the Tasman Sea had used these custom-built kayaks that had these elaborate canopies over the top of them, and they had these self-righting systems where if it flipped, it automatically popped right back up. But Andrew wanted to do it with just a basic kayak. He literally went into his backyard and constructed this fiberglass that looked like a trash can that sat over his cockpit on the kayak that he could remove and put on the back of his kayak. And then if he wanted to sleep, he could put it over him, and it was sealed and watertight. He called this dome Casper, and he painted a big smiley face on it. Finally, on January 11th, 2007, Andrew would kiss his wife and his young son goodbye, and he would set sail on his solo journey across the Tasman Sea. For the first 2/3 of the trip, it seemed to be going extremely well, but some really bad storms that he was anticipating began rolling in kind of all at once in that final third of the journey. During one particularly bad storm, Andrew would remain locked underneath Casper for 28 straight hours. Inside his kayak, he had this beacon that if he pushed the button, it would send a GPS signal to the rescue crew that would immediately come out and they would save him. He never presses the button. So instead, he would send kind of sarcastic text messages to the people on shore. Like during this storm, he sent a text message that just said, "No picnic today." 12 days after that particular storm, he had made it to within 80 miles of the finish line. He texts his wife and just says, "See you Sunday at 9 a.m. This was on a Thursday. She's so excited. She gets together everybody that wants to meet him at the finish line. But 24 hours after that text message was sent to his wife, Andrew would send a distress signal to the New Zealand Coast Guard. And he's pleading with them to come rescue him because his kayak is sinking. They can't find him, so the next day, on Saturday, they expand their search and they do find Andrew's kayak, except Andrew's not in it. The only thing missing was the canopy to the kayak. No one knows what happened to Andrew in his final hours before he ultimately disappeared. This is the final picture that was taken on Andrew's camera, and you can tell from his expression that he's not particularly happy to be in the situation he's in. Despite extensive search efforts, Andrew was never found.